Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife, Kathy. Kathy and I are social distancing. I know that might sound crazy for a married couple, but Kathy's in a high-risk group. Some of you may know, many of you may not. Kathy has a heart and lung illness called pulmonary hypertension, which puts her in like an uber risk group with coronavirus. So we don't want to be too close together while we're podcasting. So I'm in the studio and Kathy is on the phone. Hey, Kathy.
That's right. I'm just in the other room, but we just can't share a mic right now, which is normally how we do the show. But we wanted to do a podcast. I've had people messaging me all week. When are you doing another show, another podcast? And I'm really sorry we haven't done one. But as you know, it's just a little crazy. And we've been watching the news a lot and had other things kind of to worry about and deal with. But I am taking a break from the news because I just can't. It's causing me so much stress. I just can't deal with it anymore. But, you know, hopefully these new therapies are going to start helping. And
I hope.
We're turning a corner. We're turning a corner. I hope so.
You know, I was wondering, when people are talking about when Disney World is going to open up, and we got a little bit of an idea. Right now, Orange County, which covers part of Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World is in two counties, Osceola County and Orange County. And Orange County has a 2-week lockdown order. And in Florida, because we are in Florida, it's not just Disney and the other theme parks that are closed. What Florida has done is close down all of our tourist attractions, our beaches, the Florida Keys. There's even some malls in Florida that are frequented by tourists shut down.
Yeah, the Sawgrass, where we go to the Disney Character Warehouse at Sawgrass Mills Mall is closed.
Yeah, so
that's a huge tourist spot.
Yeah, so Florida does not want tourists to come to Florida, and what they've done is they've shut down all the tourist attractions, so tourists will have nothing to do in Florida. So it's not just the theme parks, but Florida. I work every day. I'm in Florida. Florida's up and running. It's just the tourist traps, like Walt Disney World and the beaches that are shut down.
And the restaurants are being hurt, and salons. So it's a huge, Florida, a huge part of our economy. The hotels, a huge part of our economy is tourism, because you think about it, Miami Beach, the Keys. I mean, Florida, the state itself is probably, I would say, in the top 3 states as far as tourism, mainly because of Disney World.
Yeah,
probably ranking with California and New York.
I think Florida's number 1. Disney World is the number 1 tourist spot in America.
Exactly. So it has a huge impact on the economy, and I worry about it. But we did read that Universal, it said they're opening. Are they opening April 19th? Is that what it says? Or they're possibly opening April 19th? Because it was on.
Possibly, and that could be pushed back. They don't know. But I'm curious when the parks open up, and they will open up again, but I don't think they're opening up anytime soon. In Florida, not only have they shut down all the tourist attractions, the governor of Florida is very concerned about people in New York trying to escape what's going on in New York and coming to Florida, because a lot of New Yorkers have family in Florida. There's a big connection between Florida and New York. And if you fly into Florida from New York, you are put in a 14-day quarantine right now. So Disney World's not going to be opening up anytime soon. But Kathy, I was wondering about this. When, our social culture is changing right now, the way we interact with people in all kinds of ways. And when Walt Disney World opens up and the other theme parks, social distancing is still going to be a thing. I don't think social distancing is going away anytime soon. And I'm wondering, what is it going to be like at the theme parks, in particular Disney, which everyone is griping all the time prior to all this, is overcrowded, that there are no more slow times at Disney. Guests at Disney World, I think, are going to be using social distancing. Like if you go to a store now, people maintain their distance when they're in line. So when I'm queued up for, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway or Space Mountain or something, are people going to stand like 6 feet apart while they're in line?
It's interesting, and I think because, with these viruses, like when they had the swine flu, it was around for 2 years because they had to develop a vaccine, and that took about 18 months to 2 years. So it was really around for a while. And I think the number of cases are going to drop over the next few weeks. I think the heat is going to play a big factor. And I think by the summertime, it'll be pretty much eradicated. Plus, they're using new drug therapies. So I see the horizon. I see the sun coming up. But in the fall, things could come back not as bad, but you could see some cases here and there. So I think Disney and these theme parks are going to be allowed to be reopened, but I feel they're going to have some limits on crowd size.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have some specific orders in place, because I can't imagine that the mayor or whoever made this ruling of Orange County, I can't imagine that Disney and Universal are going to allow the parks to be closed in permanent, for a long, long time. They're just losing so much money.
Yeah.
And it would destroy the whole state. It's such a big money for the state. But I think eventually they'll open, and what they'll do is, I'm guessing, is limit the number of people, which they should do. They pack people in too much. I'm sorry, but they do. It's too crowded. And I think that might become the standard. It'll be interesting to see, at least for a few years. But I would like to see Disney, because a lot of people are talking about when is it going to open. I said May 1st. I put this in our Facebook group, Main Street Moments and Beyond. And I said my prediction was May 1st. A lot of people said June or July, which is probably more likely. But I would think Disney, what I would suggest is that Disney does a month of a soft opening where it's Florida residents only.
Yeah.
Can come back to the park. That's it. And Florida residents only, as a test, to kind of like we're guinea pigs. See how it is. The crowds would be much less.
Yeah.
And they could try out new ways to keep the germ level down. They could still have their hand sanitizers, hand washing stations. Like you said, in queue lines, I don't know how they would enforce keeping people 6 feet apart. The lines go on. They might have to remodel the queues. I don't know. I don't know how they'd enforce that. I mean, that would be an endless struggle to be constantly telling people, okay, like, what are they going to do? Put a ruler between people and say, okay, you got to separate that. I don't think that's even practical.
What I think people are going to do is do that on their own. And I just, I'm telling you, I want to make a prediction here. And this is not a joke. I'm serious as a heart attack with this prediction. It's not going to happen right away at Walt Disney World. But within a year, you will be able to go to the Emporium or other stores around Disney and buy Disney-themed masks. I think so. And maybe even gloves.
It's a huge part of the culture in these Asian countries.
Yeah.
Masks are a huge part of the culture. And I see online now on Etsy and on Facebook, a lot of that's Instagram, of companies that make these masks that have designs on them. And I think that's going to become a huge part. And I could see Disney. I don't know if that's the image they want, though, because that's
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know what's going to happen, Kathy? You're going to go into a store and you're going to see sets like a Loungefly set. It'll be the Loungefly purse with the wallet. You'll get the you'll have the Loungefly purse, wallet, and protective mask all matching. I'm not kidding. Are you kidding me?
You never know.
Disney.
But what I worry about, or I wonder about, is, and I mentioned this before, they have millions of dollars of merchandise that was left in these stores when they closed down.
Yeah.
All were touched, handled. They're going to have to throw all that out, because they found that the COVID virus now lives up to 18 days on surfaces. I don't know. Nobody's going to buy. I wouldn't buy any merchandise that was exposed to this stuff.
Well, it's been longer than 18 days, so it should be dead.
It doesn't matter. It's still. I don't think Disney can take that chance of, the stores. I don't know what they're doing to fumigate them or disinfect them. I would imagine they're like doing a major cleaning at Disney. So, and the summer is coming. It's getting sunny, more ultraviolet light. That kills viruses.
Yeah.
So that's good outdoors. So any outdoor queue, I think, is pretty safe. So we'll see what they do. It's going to be interesting. I just want things to get back to normal, like everybody does. Like, I just don't feel right. Like, I feel like like inside, I feel almost sick about this whole thing. It just, I feel very uneasy all the time, and I'm sure everybody does. So whenever I feel that way, I tell myself, everybody's in the same boat as you. Everybody feels this way. Everybody's worried and upset. And I just, I don't know when things are going to get better. I'm hoping, soon. I'm really hoping soon things get back to normal. But I think for a while, things aren't going to be completely normal. I think they're going to have to put in some rules at Disney to keep people safe and to keep things from ramping up again. I think they're going to have to, and that would satisfy politicians too. We're going to open. Let's do it for Florida residents for 2 weeks. Have a soft opening. That's what I would do. Let's disinfect. Let's have hand sanitizer, hand washing stations. Let's try to work the queues where people stay separated. I don't know how often they clean the seats at these rides. I mean, how do they go around and wipe everything down? They might have to now. I mean, they should.
Well, when the parks reopen, there will be changes. What I'm wondering, there's a couple things I'm wondering. One, will Disney reduce the number of people they allow in the parks?
They should. They really should. And they might have to, because when you see it, when it's really crowded, like the last night of the park, people were live streaming.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, people
Crazy.
were not even 6 inches away from each other. Like somebody could breathe on your neck.
Yeah.
I think Disney is going to, at least until they have a vaccine, which could be by next year, I think they're going to be told you cannot let in, say they let in 100,000 at Magic Kingdom a day. They might tell them you got to cut that in half. You got to break it. You got to only let in 50,000 a day. That's it.
Well, Disney has been in Florida since, the park opened in 1971, but they were here a couple
years. You were born.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You're as old as Disney.
I'm the same age as the park, and not Disneyland, Disney World, but not as old as Disneyland. But Disney, and they were here before that. Disney has a lot of political power in Florida.
Sure.
It's the number one tourist spot, of course, and everything that goes along with it. And of course, it's big money, which means they have control over politicians locally and statewide. So they got a lot of influence on what happens at Walt Disney World. But I would think Disney will definitely have to limit their crowd size on their own. They're going to have to
until there's a vaccine, and until this is completely, which they said the vaccine should be by next spring. They're fast tracking it. I think until there's a vaccine, which will happen, like the swine flu has been eradicated, until they get rid of it completely.
Yeah.
I would imagine that they would. Now, what would they do about the hotels? I mean, if you have a hotel that sleeps 4, like say Pop Century will sleep 4 adults, are they going to limit that now? I mean, what are they going to do about the hotels? Are they going to space out? And I don't see how it matters, because you're in separate quarters. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. What about the restaurants? Are they going to have to say, okay, if you eat at Tony's and Magic Kingdom, you have to seat every other table? I mean, these are things we could be wrong.
Well, I think when the parks open up, I think people are going to descend on the parks like they normally would. But now I could be wrong about this, but I think you're going to see, it's going to be a different experience than we've ever had before. I do believe you are going to see a lot of people, maybe at some point even, right now, as you go around anywhere, you'll see people in masks and gloves on. On a normal day.
Seeing them at Publix. My brother went to Publix and wore a mask the other day.
Yeah, I see people all over the place with masks and gloves. But at Walt Disney World, because there are so many people there, close quarters, the rides, I think you're going to see more people than you see anywhere else wearing gloves and masks. And this is an interesting thing, because Disney has had a policy about masks, right? Only children. And one of the reasons masks are prohibited is because it's a safety measure, right? They don't want people going around anonymous and not being, there's a security element to that. And a lot of people are making homemade masks. I've seen people with bandanas around. They look like stagecoach robbers, in some of the stores.
It's true. My best friend, her husband works for FedEx, and they are not giving him masks. And she is making them now for him to wear, because she has multiple sclerosis. She's a high-risk person. And she's terrified he's going to bring it home, because he interacts with people all day long, which I can understand. So she's even making him. But I saw my doctor last week. I had to go to see my doctor.
Yeah.
She told me this was her opinion. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. She said masks are only meant for people who are sick. She said they really don't help if you're not sick, but I don't know if I agree with that, because if you're in line and you're wearing a mask,
Yeah.
somebody coughs or sneezes in your face,
It's got to help a little bit.
but it can, maybe
It's
it can
better
get
than
in
nothing.
your eyes. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? It's got to help a little bit, I would think. But she's, that was her opinion on it. So, but
Well,
I think it
the
gives
one thing, the
people
mask
a feeling
definitely.
of security.
Well,
Gives
one
people a feeling of
it
security.
does. It's a feeling of security, and another thing it does, it keeps you from touching your mouth and things a lot too.
That's
But
true. It
but
does.
so I think there's going to be an issue. Sometimes before all of this happened, a lot of people, we were talking about, you'll see Asian tourists wear masks at theme parks sometimes, children and adults.
Yeah.
But you don't see Americans in large numbers wearing masks ever, and I think you're going to see more people wearing masks at Walt Disney World than any place you've ever seen before.
If they
Because,
allow it. If
well,
they allow it.
how
Now,
can
I
they not
think
allow it? How can they say
well,
you
he
can't
said
wear
it's their
something?
policy.
Yeah,
Says their policy. Well,
yeah.
what I think is going to happen is when they do reopen, which I think will be sometime this summer, I think that the local government is going to put certain rules in place. Like I said, possibly with crowd size. And I worry about the cast members that work there.
Oh yeah.
They are in contact with so many people all day long. And granted, most of them are young, but not all. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They go home. They might go home and infect other people. So they have to worry about that too. If you work at the Emporium, I mean, how many people do you interact with on a daily basis?
Thousands,
Hundreds.
thousands come in that
know,
place. Well,
come in.
I looked
It's
up
crazy.
the rule on masks.
Yeah.
Okay, and this rule is from 2018 is the last time it was updated. And here's Walt Disney's official rules about masks. Okay, it says
Okay.
guests 14 or older cannot wear costumes unless for a special event. Masks are prohibited unless masks are prohibited unless they are for medical purposes.
Well, there you go.
But that's a big
There
difference.
you go.
Yeah, but it's a different thing in having 5 or 10 people in the park and having maybe 40% of the people in the park wearing a mask. It's a
So do you
whole
think-
nother thing.
Do you think Disney is going to start selling masks and people are going to start wearing masks as opposed to mouse ears?
Yes.
That's going to become a fashion thing.
It's going to be a new
see
thing.
it happening. I really could.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see. I want to talk about. So we'll see what happens. And please leave in the comments what you think is going to happen with Disney World. Are they going to open this summer? Are they going to impose some new rules for the park, at least until the vaccine comes around next year?
I got to tell you, now we don't know when Walt Disney World is opening up, but
no.
Florida has shut down all, as I said at the beginning, all the tourist locations. Okay.
Right.
And including the Keys. You can't go to the Florida Keys unless you're a resident. I think it's possible that Walt Disney World and the theme parks may not open until after the summer when we're getting into Halloween time.
Wow. Well,
that's my prediction, but it could change.
They have all these tickets they've sold for the Halloween party, which starts in mid-August. They already started selling tickets.
Oh, really?
Months ago.
Oh, wow.
So
in
a
August?
lot of people, so they're refunding. Not only are they losing money daily, they've had to refund people for all their trips. Think of all the trips that have been booked through the summer. How many people are canceling those trips? Now, we have a trip booked for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to cancel it yet, but how many people have canceled their trips this last month?
Yeah.
How many people have wanted? I don't even know if those tickets are refundable if you do the Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking,
well, they'd have to refund them if they're not open.
Right. Originally, I thought May 1st, but now I'm starting to think July 1st, June. I think the summer for sure. I can't imagine they stay closed all through the summer because, like I said, the heat is going to play a factor in the humidity with this virus. It definitely, from everything I've read, the heat and humidity kills these viruses. And also, they're introducing a lot of new drug therapies this week, which have been very successful. So I think things are going to turn a corner over the next month. I really do. But we'll see what happens. But I would like to see Disney open for a month just for Florida residents to see how it goes. use this as guinea pigs, see how the crowd level is, if they can keep things contained and see what happens. Maybe like, mid-May through mid-June. And I really feel that for a while until they get a vaccine, I'm guessing they're going to make them control the crowd better and have less crowds.
Yeah.
Less people in the queue. It's going to be interesting.
Well,
to see.
when it gets to the point that the government in Florida and the counties that Walt Disney World is in start talking about things like that, Disney will be a part of the decision making because
absolutely
they've got so much juice with the politicians in Florida.
Once Disney opens, everything else is going to open.
Yeah.
To me, that's the main thing. That's the main tourist attraction in our state. It's so once they start, it's going to set the precedent. Now, you and I were talking the other day about Bob Iger, and I remember when Bob Iger stepped down. What did I say to you when this was 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago? What did I say?
I don't know how long ago it's been, but he stepped down. I don't think it was that long, Kathy. Has it been? He stepped down right after, about a week after the Shanghai park had closed down.
And what did I say to you?
You said that he's stepping down now and throwing this other guy under the bus, that he wants Disney's financial fails to be on this other guy's watch, not his.
Not just that. Now, I said to you that he is leaving because of the virus.
Yeah.
I said that to you. I said, I think he is stepping down because he does not want to deal with this virus, and he does not want this to be in his last year of being the CEO, because he has a year to go. And I said, that was my opinion, that he saw this coming.
Yeah.
They had to close the parks. He saw the stock going down. And I feel I could be wrong, but my opinion immediately was, he doesn't want to deal with this virus nonsense. And I feel like he's abandoned the company. I know he's still there creatively or whatever position they've given him, but he's no longer in charge. And I cannot help that question the timing of his leaving early with this virus.
No doubt. I agree.
And I'm not the only one who thinks that. That's really been going around. But I said that long ago. And it's interesting. We've been watching a lot of Disney vloggers, and it's kind of funny to see what they do. Some of them are doing some good stuff and being very creative, and some of them I can tell are struggling a little bit, which would be hard. The vloggers that we think are doing a great job, there's a lot doing a great job, but we've been watching Adam the Woo, who really is stepping up and doing really interesting content. And we had seen Provost Park. What is it? Provost Parks Pass?
Yeah. Yes.
And they did a really cute video where they had like their son, they had like the Disneyland park rides in their home, which was
a lot of people are starting to. That's becoming a trend. Our vloggers
that is becoming a trend.
I just saw Joey's World did a vlog recently. Guys, look up Joey's World. He's a great vlogger up there and at Disney World, and he did a thing with his own Disney World rides at home. That's becoming a thing.
A thing.
Yeah.
So now what? I mean, if the park is closed for another 2 months.
Oh my goodness.
I could see some vloggers, I'm not going to name names, who are struggling a little bit with the content, which we haven't even really put anything up, so I'm not criticizing them. It's really hard to come up with ideas when your vlogs are all about going to the parks. And there's some people that are, putting together old footage, and that's, I think, fine, and putting together new videos using old footage. Some people have driven around to show you how empty things are. It's a struggle, and I can appreciate the struggle because their vlogs completely revolve around the park, and the park's closed. So, what do? You have to try to think of different things.
Well, some of them, like Adam the Woo and Justin Scard, okay? Yeah. They're doing different things now. Adam the Woo is not a Disney vlogger. He's kind of like an on the road kind of guy. So he's staying with his family his family live in that Kissimmee St. Cloud area.
Yeah, he's from that. He's from Kissimmee.
So Adam the Woo's been doing a lot of vlogs in that area, and Justin Scard has a new vlog up today. He went to Death Valley, which is pretty secluded for social distancing. Yeah, and I have not watched that vlog yet. I'm going to watch it tonight. But I think he goes to the location of some of the Mandalorian filming scenes because it said Mandalorian in the title of his Death Valley visit. So, but a lot of vloggers, when the theme parks open up, there's going to be a mass of vlogging there. But I think what you're going to see with vloggers, the ones that you watch all the time, I think you're going to see them expand out of the theme parks in case something like this happens again,
Well, I don't
because
even know what
there's
they could do now because, like you said, Adam the Woo is doing like these back road. That's his thing. Like
yeah.
he did a video where he showed where they filmed this B movie Barracuda in St. Cloud, and he showed all the movie spots, he does that all the time, and it was really interesting. But I don't even know what places people can go to. The beaches are closed, the malls are closed, all the tourist.
Well, yeah,
things
that's
are
the
closed,
problem.
like
Since
you said.
you can't go, there are no tourist locations
Yeah,
open in
it's
Florida,
tough.
so they can't go to other locations. But Adam the Woo, he has not left Central Florida, and he's going to these back road places, and he's doing different things. I find Adam the Woo very interesting. So Adam the Woo is in a field with nothing in it but cows and weeds, and he makes it interesting. But a lot
He
of
does.
people are struggling, and
You can tell.
there's been a couple of vlogs where vloggers have gone to the Disney property while it's closed. I saw one guy the other day, I don't remember which channel
Yeah.
this was, and he did a video with just kind of like a dashboard camera, and he drove all the roads behind. He drove the road
I saw that.
around the resorts, and then he went behind Magic Kingdom and everything, and that was cool. And then Spokesmayne had a vlog the other day on, well, he had a live stream because Spokesmayne live streams. Spokesmayne, who's been live streaming, went over to, what was it, the Swan or the Dolphin, and he was confronted by security during his live stream because he was there on the property while it's closed, and they were freaked out. So, I don't think we're going to see the vloggers after the Spokesmayne incident. I don't think we're going to see vloggers driving around the Disney property during the closure to see what it looks like while it's closed. I don't think we're going to see too much of that after what happened to Spokesmayne.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that they are, well, now there's a new ordinance with the county where they're actually enforcing this quarantine, and they're like fining people and punishing people who are breaking the quarantine or having this, which, I don't even want to get into that. So it'll be, they're running out of things to do.
Well, the Tim Tracker has been doing home vlogs, and
he's done those all along.
He's always done, yeah. And the Tim Tracker, not only, Tim Tracker does a lot of vlogging outside the theme parks. He hasn't been doing outside the theme parks in the last year as much, but sometimes he'd go to a local indoor flea market and do a vlog. Now, he can't do that now, but the Tim Tracker's doing solely home vlogs because he has a newborn baby at home, and he doesn't want to go out and risk bringing anything home with the baby. So that, but there's definitely, I feel bad. I mean, look, Michael K. and Dave K. moved to Florida to vlog the theme parks, and now they're closed indefinitely. They've got to be having a freak out going on over there.
Well, I'm sure that Michael K. is going through major withdrawals. I mean, this is a guy that went to the park every day. It's his entire life revolves around Disney World, which is not a horrible thing. And he has got to be going nuts because he's just, I don't know if he has a regular job because he goes to the parks a lot. I don't know if he has a regular job, but he's got to be bouncing off the walls. But, he could do, I think he's doing vlogs like he used to do, which I've seen a lot of people have said that they kind of miss. His old vlogs he did when he was living up north.
Informational vlogs from home.
Where he chooses a topic,
but you know what? The problem with that.
Doing more of those, which I think people.
But there's a problem with that. There's a problem with that. With the parks not opening right now and no idea when they're going to open, there's not a lot of new rules and things to talk about. And it's hard to sit around.
Not a lot of news.
No,
there's a lot of news.
No, there's not a lot of news. And
what is Mickey Views doing? Have you checked him out?
Now, Mickey Views, no, I have not. But Mickey Views, I love Mickey Views. He's great. And Mickey Views.
He just got his T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, yesterday I wore a Mickey Views T-shirt to work. Mickey Views, what's his name? Braden from Mickey Views just moved to Florida from Atlanta, Georgia. He built an entire studio to do his newscast from here in Florida, even though he had a studio up in Atlanta, and now the parks are closed. I mean, how devastating.
Well, he can still do a newscast, but I don't know.
There's not a lot of news. I
There's not
mean,
a lot going on. Exactly.
there's a
There's no
little
new
bit.
cupcakes or new
No,
merchandise
no
or
new cupcakes right now, but
new things here and there.
but
Drips and drabs.
they
But yeah,
are doing. I mean, I've seen some stories online that they are doing some work on the castle,
they are.
and I don't know if they're continuing construction at Epcot or not. But if they could maintain the construction they're doing, they
Yeah.
will probably get more done in this time period than they ever would have with guests coming in all the
Well,
time because they don't have to be so hidden.
let me ask you. They could get it done a lot quicker, and it would be amazing if we came back and everything was done.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know
Now
about
you're
Epcot,
dreaming.
but well,
It's
they
not
could have
that
the
magical at Disney.
fun. They could have the castle painted.
Oh yeah.
They could have all the rides fixed at Magic Kingdom that we're breaking down. They could have a
Yeah.
significant amount of. They could have Ratatouille would be finished because that's supposed to be finished this summer. Ratatouille could be done. They
Yeah.
could have a significant amount of construction finished.
Yeah.
But is construction considered an essential business?
Yeah, yeah, construction's continuing everywhere in Florida.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so
part.
then that might happen because
And
people have posted pictures
yeah,
of them working on the castle. So I'm guessing when it does open,
the castle will be done.
the castle will be, because they could probably get it done so much faster if the castle will be done.
Yeah.
The Ratatouille will be done, and it'll be a big to-do.
Well, a lot of these people too, I really feel so sorry for some of the vloggers. Prince Charming Dev, for example, not that long ago quit his job. He worked in the optical business or something. He quit his job to be a full-time vlogger.
Yeah.
And now the parks are closed. You really can't travel like you used to during this crisis. And it's got to really be scary, and it's got to be panicking them.
Well, you know what? Amazon is hiring. He might have to get a regular job.
I'm telling you,
that's just part of adulting.
well,
yeah,
exactly.
Part of being an adult.
Well, a lot of vloggers, like Resort TV One, they have jobs, right? And a lot of vloggers have regular jobs.
Yeah,
and
well,
then
that might be the time to do it temporarily.
Yeah, and then the vlogging is a sideline or a hobby or
Right.
something like that. But for full-time vloggers, and there's a lot of them, and even full-time live streamers like Spokesmayne, it's got to be pretty difficult. But
I want to talk about this incident with Spokesmayne real quick, and I'm not going to say anything negative about any vloggers or anything, but I want to talk about it because it has been all over Twitter. And what happened is, just to fill you in, Spokesmayne had gone. You mentioned it briefly. Had gone to the Swan and Dolphin. He's done many vlogs there. They've actually done live stream tours of the hotels on his channel, so he has a relationship with that resort. Okay. It's not a Disney resort, but it's on Disney property. He has a relationship with that resort. He's done live stream tours into rooms and everything, so they know him. He went there, and it's all over Twitter, and he got in an argument with two security guys. Now, these weren't the guys that wear the security uniforms. These looked like higher ups. They were like, they were not in a uniform. They were like in business clothes type thing. I guess they looked like they were higher up on the ladder here. And he was kind of arguing with them because they wouldn't let him tour the grounds or wouldn't let him live stream there because there's certain things going on. And I'm just wondering how that is. It was all over Twitter, and people were really not happy that he acted that way. They were really upset that he was arguing with Disney security guards or Disney security, and the way he handled it. I can't imagine this is going to be good for his relationship with Disney.
Well, I'll tell. Okay, I'm going to defend Spokesmayne.
You saw the video.
Yeah, I saw the video. I'm going to defend Spokesmayne here a little bit because I saw on Diz Twitter, I saw the clip of Spokesmayne and this I don't know, kind of a confrontation with. There were two security guards, and
there was an argument.
Yeah, it was a little
physical, but there was an argument.
But you know what? It's a little different with Spokesmayne because he's doing a live stream. I think most people who vlog regularly at the theme parks will have a run-in with security. I have had security on a couple of occasions approach me. The first time it happened is when I first started vlogging, and I was new at it. And I was at Disney Hollywood Studios, and I was vlogging outside the park as I was entering it, and a security guard approached me and said, "Are you recording our security area?" And I said, "No, I'm recording myself in the parking lot."
Right.
And he asked me to delete the video. And I did. And not only did he ask me to, he asked me, but he was really telling me. He checked and made sure I did it. We were talking about Mickey Views earlier. When they opened up the new guest security entrance at Epcot a few months back, Mickey Views did a vlog on it, and he talked about on his vlog how he was approached by, oh, there goes the battery's getting low on my cell phone, so we got to be quick. But I'll tell you these things quick. Mickey Views said that that he was approached by Disney security at Epcot, and they asked him to delete his video, and made sure that he did. I was vlogging leaving Magic Kingdom twice when I was leaving, and Disney security came and asked me not to vlog during during that area. It happens all the time.
Live, it does, and the problem with live streaming is things happen live, and it's unpredictable, and things do happen. The question is, he was doing like a multi-day live stream with multiple cameras. It was a big setup, and it was going to be a continuous thing. So he really couldn't stop the live stream, because I would like turn my camera off if I started getting any kind of confrontation with anybody at Disney. I wouldn't want to upset Disney or upset anybody, so I would be like, all right, I'm turning the camera off. He kept his camera going through the whole thing. I don't know if that was the smartest idea or if he felt he had to, but he seemed very upset about it, that they wouldn't let him in. And I'm not sure how this is going to bode for him. I understand he wanted to keep things going. It was a live stream, and they asked him, don't record us. So he turned the camera away, but you could hear what was going on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't officially like a Disney Hotels, but it was on Disney
property. It was the Swan and Dolphin. But, you know, the thing with...
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, Diz Twitter was pretty rough on Spokesmayne. You know what? I just remembered, a couple of years ago, Michael Kay was at Disney Springs one morning, and he... I don't remember if he was live streaming or vlogging, but he said on his vlog that he was approached by Disney security at Disney Springs. They asked him to turn off his camera and asked him what he was recording and what he was doing. And he had but because he wasn't, when things are on a live stream, you see everything. Vloggers, it is very, it is very common.
Edit it out.
Yeah.
Live streams are like, Tom Does Disney got in an argument with another guest on the live stream, and you know, I would have personally just turned my phone off. I would have ended the stream, but he didn't. Spokesmayne didn't. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. Again, I'm not going to criticize them. I support everybody who does this, and I think they're both great. It's just interesting that they kept the camera going, and now there's a little bit of fallout, especially for Spokesmayne. A lot of people, there's a lot of fallout on Twitter over this, so I wanted to talk about it. But I'm curious to see what you guys think about what happened with him. Should he have kept the camera going?
Yeah.
Was he out of line? Should he have turned the phone off? I'd like to know what people think about this, because a lot of people are talking about it. So I'm really curious.
Well, my phone is about to go dead, so we got to wrap it up. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys, for listening. And we hope you all stay safe. Hopefully Disney will open soon so we can get back to our normal lives. Once Disney opens, things will go back to normal, I have a feeling. But thanks for listening, and we'll try to do another podcast again soon, and we'll see you guys hopefully in the parks very soon.